we're just going to talk about marketing strategies. Okay, two lessons that come that like this, as well as some in a second. Yes, it's start now. So speak my language if you can. All right. Um, can I just quickly? Yeah. Okay. Is everyone still there? Because Teams just decided to freeze for a second. Are you there? Just can give me a little bit of a thumbs up or whatever. You're fine. We're on there. Everyone can hear me. Yes. No.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good. Thank you. All right. Okay. Thank you for that. Okay. Good. So let me just get back to this lesson. Okay. All right. Okay. Uh, so, uh, let's talk about marketing strategies. Okay. So, a couple of points, and as I do, I'm just going to read a couple, and then obviously have a conversation around us. I mean, around obviously what we're covering, and I'd like some interactions with you and from you. Okay. So, when we're looking at marketing strategies can be holistic. I'm going to say holistic. So, in terms of we could have a brand image again, and the brand ethos and the brand culture that we want to make sure that we align ourselves with. So, whatever the radio station's again vision statement is, we must always know that when we do market our product, that it does stand in line with what it is that the station actually stands for and what it promises to like a listener, okay, or our listeners. So the audience, obviously, like we must always think about first, I say the core of what our medium is, which is our terrestrial a terrestrial station, and then use everything else around us, whatever media or medium we decide to exist on further, as only an add on or an added value product slash obviously service that we can. So for example, as I said there, like as you've said before, so any social media apps, any, like, let's say YouTube channels, any ways that we might want to, let's say, collaborate with certain brands or people or whatever it may be. These are obviously extensions and other options of ways to reach a further possible audience, but we don't consider it like a means to an end. In other words, like, this is not a way to make more people listen to us. We will only get that from what we do on air, and then our listeners will obviously like more people like our listener that fit its demographic and whatever it is, our target audience and our core audience will be attracted by the product and its presence in, like, for example, a South African lifestyle, right? Um, okay, so anyway, so let's talk about, like, marketing and obviously advertising. So the thing is that we understand that about 73% or 70% of revenue comes from marketing and from marketing products or services outcomes, but from advertising sales. You understand? So to be able to market a product is via what we agree with also to clients that do decide to come on board and say, okay, cool, I would like and to be part of an activation. What is an activation? Activation is something that has a long duration. For example, let's say 3 weeks, and this, like, there'll be a particular brand. Let's say Absa is deciding to launch a new type of, I don't know, like, a check account or whatever it is, or student check account, or there's so many different things that people, like, let's say you must go as a sales, um sorry, just let this person in. Okay. Okay. So yeah, so as obviously a sales person or part of the sales team, you would have to go, and you must always go and offer solutions to a client. You understand? Don't go there and like cold call them, which is like let's say just phone or pitch up somewhere randomly for no reason, or send them an email and just be like, hi, I'm from this station, this is what we offer, here's our rate card. A rate card is what lists the amount that you pay per advert and per time, and the type of advert it is a live read, a live promo, whatever it may be. Is it produced? Here are the packages, and then say, please contact me if you are interested. They won't contact you, because like that is not like salespeople are the they earn the most money. I'm telling you, at commercial radio, because they obviously get commission off these massive contracts that they obviously sign down with sponsorships or whatever. They get the commission, that so they get the most money, because again, at commercial it costs so much money to advertise on a station or be part of any kind of strategy that is sold to them, right? um but the thing is to land those deals, like you have to be like a real charmer. You understand? You know exactly what that person needs, and you've got to sell ice to an Eskimo. Do you understand? So when people use that analogy and they say, well, I mean, like, how do you sell ice to an Eskimo? Like, make it convenient. For example, I'm saying, so instead of them having to just go and dig it out like for themselves, and then, I don't know, build like a traditional igloo or whatever it is to stay in, like, offer them that you're going to go and like I say, harvest the ice yourself. You'll get the best ice. Like, there won't be any, because there's a lot of ice that's just not stable, whatever it is. It'll be manufactured into the bricks and the layers that they want, and it'll be delivered to them within 24 hours. You understand? Like, you got to start thinking that you must not stop at, like I say, what is the proverbial idea of that Eskimo and the ice, and say, ah, well, there's nothing to sell here. Do you understand, right? Um, uh, Always, again, you're envisioning how it is that they would be part of something that you would like to get going. That obviously the ideas and the strategies and whatever it may be, like I say, activations, etc., will be developed before. Do you understand? As kind of like a draft, and like a clear rough sketch, almost, in a way, to be able to go and present to different possible clients that would be part of whatever marketing strategy you're planning to have alongside that. So again, like in terms of integrated marketing communication plans, they involve advertising, public relations, uh obviously our sales team. Like I said, it involves the managers that are involved for each of the departments. Now, also will involve a digital manager or digital strategist with that, and then obviously the stations and program manager to some extent as well. I'm saying the program manager itself. But to deliver a consistent message is the point of an integrated marketing communications plan. So, for example, the advertising and public relations, that it informs, reminds, persuades, entertains both existing and potential audiences. Once a station has established its target market, the marketing strategy needs to be developed to achieve two primary goals. One is to attract a new listener, and to retain its current listener. Okay. So the question that'll come up when we do competitions, and that's coming soon, it'll come in about 2 weeks, I think, 2.5 weeks time, right? Is do you think competitions attract new listeners? Is it like a yes or no? See, someone's gone off. Let's go to K. Do you think competitions actually build more listenerships, bigger listenership, or doesn't it? Can say something. Okay, I'm gonna go to Angie. You say to me, do you think that competitions uh increase listenership?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So they actually don't. Tell me why you thought that, and I'll tell you why they actually don't. Go ahead.
Um, people and this thing of being a winner, it makes them feel a certain way. It brings a sense of
No, sure,
They don't
absolutely.
see any. Yeah.
So we want to bring winning moments. That's the thing. We want to be able to like give back to our audience. That's why competitions are they must be. You understand? We want have to put them into our obviously our programming, and we want to award our listeners in whatever type of way. People like also like listening to people getting stuff as well. But the thing is that like does it make the listenership, does it make, will it make your audience, your numbers bigger, is the question. In other words, like, so I have a competition. Somehow, someone's going to start listening to the station and stay there. I'm saying to post the competition. So that's why it's a no. People. So we when I'll talk about once when it happened, and I've only seen it this once ever happen. It was done at 947. Uh, we did a promo that was run across all our shows, right? The weekday shows, and we it was called Pimp Up Your Life, right? And it was, I think, sponsored by MTN, whatever it may be. But the thing is that you won a paid for house, right? A double story. I think it had 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. So you want to you but fully paid for, obviously paid off. So you got that. You got your brand new like sedan, but it was a massive like a BMW sedan, and you got your water and lights paid for a year, as well as groceries paid for a year. So this, when people got wind of this, that there were so many people that new listeners, I'm saying to you, and new people that were good. So this thing carried on, like I say, for only 3 weeks. The activation, like I say, ran for 3 weeks. But the thing is that this was so big, so that people could always. And the thing is with competitions as well, is that we never want to close off to like, oh, you're now in semifinals and or quarterfinals or whatever it is. You want obviously people to keep entering all the time, all the time, all the time, every day, all day, and trying their luck. So we had many opportunities throughout the show for people to call in, become finalists, whatever it is, answer some questions that they had to, and be put into the final draw, whatever it is, right? But the thing is that that was the only time I ever saw that our numbers grew. But the thing is that they grew, and they from other stations. It doesn't matter. We didn't need that information. Then we had new people all of a Sunday for this one particular reason, but they went back to wherever they came from. Do you understand? Because everyone wanted a new house, a new car. Like never have to pay for your water, electricity for the next coming year, and food for the year. Obviously, groceries, toiletries, whatever it is, right? So it's still even something that massive. The only way that a person would stay there is whether they were. I'm going to go to you right now, yeah. Is whether they actually were impressed and became addicted in some other way to 947 during that, obviously, that 3 week period, which is what you hope to do, but you're actually just rewarding your listener. Yes, Teddy.
Okay, so did you guys
Mm.
announce the winner? Or
Yes,
was
we
it?
did.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, no, 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 no. There was definitely a winner. Yeah, no, they would have come with like fire and and oil and burnt the station down. There was definitely a winner. And again, it's one of those things where, like, every single day there's so many finalists that are put into that final draw. Do you understand? Because we just want to keep people coming and coming and coming. What happens is that, like, MTN is all over the place. You understand? Because the thing is that they pay so much money and they're a lot. I mean, for them to also just sponsor, I mean, like, it was nothing for them, to like put the money forward for those, but for the obviously the grand prize, right? Um, and every finalist got money. That was the incentive. Like, let's say, so if you were the finalist for the day that you won or whatever it is, you would get, let's say, like $1,000 or whatever, maybe just as a consolation prize, regardless of whether you do win at the end or not. So anyway, okay. So my thing is that we need to understand that we do competitions, and when we do revise or when we revisit it again, I want you to think about how money, for example, money is the best prize you can give anyone, because like they can do whatever they want with it, whenever they want with it, however they want to do it. You understand? And one of the worst things to actually give someone is an experience. So we tried that as well, you know. And I'm going to move on in a moment. And I'll come back to this again. Like we gave away tickets to like Ibiza, and we gave tickets to the Grammys, and we gave tickets to the Oscars, but we didn't have a large listener interaction, because people have to, one, have passports, like valid passports. Two, they got to take time off from work. Do you understand? Like three, they got to miss out. It's too much. There was too many logistics that people would be like, oh, this would be awesome, but I can't because hashtag life. Do you understand? So experiences are still are given away, obviously, like especially if they're local, because it's a bit easier to get away, and also they are, let's say, tied into, for example, this long weekend that's coming up, etc., whatever it may be. You understand, right? But mostly around holidays, a lot easier, because they know people just will not, they don't just travel willy-nilly or just go wherever they do. We can't drop our lives, you understand? There's too much that we have to depend on, you know, every day, as let's say, you know, adults. Okay, anyway, so let's have a look. I want you just to think of that, and we'll revisit those ideas. But okay, so let's say again, you are obviously well versed now in terms of target marketing and understanding listeners, a group of listeners. We want to say, like, what is a radio station's product? Its content, right? The people in the target market usually share some demographic and behavioral similarities. Okay, I'm going to speak about that in a moment. Again, so what are some examples that we can think of? These details are not attributed to each and every person in a target group consistently, but it does help that the marketing manager understands that the target audience is, you know, that they do have knowledge about them, and they have good knowledge. Okay, if not accurate knowledge about who is the target audience, right? So this information obviously informs the marketing manager's decision on what types of, you know, again, strategies, activations, etc., to do, and to, you know, obviously construct and create whatever it is for, you know, the station, and where exactly, so that we can make sure that we hit the target correctly. But okay, so for example, so some examples that we can think of, you know, where we can find similarities are, remember that's how the Rams work. You understand? So some, obviously, let's say, let's consider public broadcast services, right? The PBS stations, there's only a certain, up to a certain degree, that you can consider that they have similarities across people, because those are culturally based. You understand? So it depends on, obviously, what, I say it's based on the language specifically, but that's actually, I mean, that's a tribal sect. You understand? And it's a different culture altogether. So it's not to say that, for example, we can have Hindu people, like Hindi people, or white people even listening to a PBS station. It makes no sense. They won't understand a thing. But even if they do speak the language, they would have to have grown up within, or are part of, let's say, whatever, Sepedi culture, family, whatever it may be, right? To actually listen to a PBS station. The commercial stations and the community stations are where you will find behavioral and lifestyle similarities between different demographics. I'm saying, do you want to say different demographics? You'll get your white, black, Indian, like I say, colored, whoever it may be in terms of race. And obviously then we'll start going towards a certain age group and a certain, again, SEM, etc., because then we'll share different, like the station will then service a different interests and different needs that these people all have in common, right? Um, okay, defining markets and segmentation, which is literally what I just said about trying to understand how to, like how our market obviously looks, what's it's made up, what it's made up of in terms of like the who, right, and who they are. So obviously again in terms of like what jobs they're doing and where they live and what they eat and what they like to watch, whatever it may be, right? Um, uh, Positioning concepts, for example, within our marketing and our branding, etc., must tie in with their lifestyle, right? The consumer is going to have a particular set of needs that it will expect one from the radio station that it listens to, right? They listen to, uh, but also let's look at like being able to again capitalize on that particular need at any one particular moment in time. Do you understand? Because once we can do calendars. So we do actually. I mean, every business has a business calendar where we will mark off very specific events that have to happen at a certain time, but we also know are part of the listeners' lifestyles. One, for example, is holidays. You understand? So let's say public holidays, whatever it may be. But then we might also have like certain events, like let's say we do have elections or we do have whatever it may be. You understand? That we need to know that we have to be on top of because our listener is it's important to our listener. And then we'll start, like I say, dividing quarterlies and then obviously bi-quarterlies and then and I say sub-quarterlies, so bi-monthly, let's say, and then go to monthly and weekly and stuff like that as we move on to our onto what is happening every quote unquote day. But the content obviously will reflect that when we do content that is marketed, like it's got to be obviously a lot more. Just I don't know why you guys keep going in and out. Uh, okay. All right, but we've got to be obviously again focused on when it's a strategy, the strategy has to have a lifespan. Okay. Okay. Anyway, the positioning strategy is then the plan for how we're going to act using marketing and communications and demonstrate the position and concept to our target market. Okay. Just a couple more here. Nearly done. Um, uh, Here we go. Okay. So how do we define a target market? Again, the thing is, one, your license is going to tell you like you are this type of station. So ICASA will give you the license one. All right. Then when you and it will have certain terms and agreements, quote unquote, right? T's and C's apply. So you will have your mandate from the beginning. That license is what dictates what you will go to discover and investigate and research further. Do you understand? So let's say they will say to you, let's say you've got a license for whatever it is, an alternative like R&B station, whatever it may be, right? And the target market is 28 to 35, for example, and it has to do nothing with color or race, but it has to do with SEM. In other words, people's money and how they spend it. Okay, what their lifestyle and how they spend it. So kind of like that's almost kind of describing Hot 91.9 with obviously let's say excluding the alternative part because they are an old school R&B station, right? That is for just a particularly higher adult older audience that is like their SEM, so their audience actually has quite a high salary that they do get, but that's called an LSM if we consider just the money alone. It's a way that they spend it, which is the SEM, the social economic measurement. Okay. All right. So then, as we know, we've obviously spoken about how to get and how the obviously it's done. I mean, it's things statistically with the RAMs and stuff. Development of the radio station's plan using marketing communication tools, keeping in mind that the target market and the identified segments within the target market, which for me you call your core market is the people that you have to get. Your target market is are the people that you will get out of, I say, quote unquote, out of by accident, right? So other people that will also be interested or will be possibly and quite probably part of your listenership, but you are aiming it towards, for example, let's say Black females, aged 18 to 25, with an SEM of living in uh whatever it is, Cape Town, and then the thing is that you'll get, let's say, a target market that will include, let's say, Black men that are, and black, let's say, and that are aged between um whatever, the same age, 18 to 25, but you'll also get females that might be aged up to the age of 30, you understand? um and with maybe slightly different LSMs, maybe on the up or the down. Okay. So there is no single correct way to write a marketing strategy. Ideally, what you must need to go and do, and I'm sure you've seen this in marketing itself, is to go. I mean, like, there are so many templates out there, right? We rather start whenever you don't understand something. Just go again. I know it sounds like a solution that's for peasants, but I'm saying to you, Google it. Right. So go and research it on the net and go see what's available to you, and see what it is that you can use and pull and squat out of whatever it is, to apply, like like, for whatever, and customize for your situation. If you want to know more about it, go read more about it. If you need to understand more, then go watch something about it. You understand? And if at the end of the day, like, that still doesn't help, go ask someone who knows what they're doing. You understand? Within the situation, for example, um uh like right, currently, like right now, I want to move into TV, but I want to, like, produce my first, like, I say, commercialized TV show. uh like, I know enough about production, for example, and I can do it, but I can't do it on my own, because it's stupid to think that I don't know people that know more about the industry. I'm saying the television industry, right? And so the thing is that I partnered up with a friend of mine who runs massive production company in Joburg. I'm saying to you, and this, so Janice, for example, will fill in the blanks for me, as I learn from and collaborate with, for example. But I will tell you that you can learn anything over time, right? Okay, and everything over time. Just give it some time, give it some effort, and give it like an end game. So an end goal. What is it that you want to do to be able to just go ahead, use what you know, and then become a somewhat of an expert professional in the field by doing. Okay, let's end off with 10 components of a marketing strategy, right? So one is the summary. So the kind of the intro of it. What are the ambitions of the marketing strategy in a snapshot? So this is where you get to summarize your version of what you expect in the whole document. Again, almost like an intro, like you would get a hypothesis, like I think it applies in your, like you do uh with the assignment, right? But we have an we call it an executive summary in the marketing strategy, right? Situation analysis, so your SWOT analysis, so your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Okay. To the radio station, your marketing objectives. So what is it that you want to obviously do, that will correlate, once again, like I said to you earlier on, with what is the business objectives at that particular time, but also as a brand as a whole. For target market and segmentation, which is, once again, just the revisitation of who is our composite listener, right? What is it that they do, understanding fully their lifestyle, and being able to then obviously apply whatever marketing projects and sales projects, whatever it is, right, under that sales and marketing, the PR umbrella, we will take action on. Communication objectives. So what are we going to use? Are we using these platforms? Are we using below the line marketing, which is very effective? What is below the line marketing? That above the line, you see that both ATL and BTL, right? So does anyone know what below the line marketing is? It's actually one of the cheapest, and like one of the I'm not gonna say it's not the most effective, but it's very effective way of marketing. What is below the line marketing? Can anyone guess? Let's go, Corsi. Are you there? Hello, Teddy. You want to give it a go? Tell me what below the line marketing is. Are you ladies even there? Who's there? Angie, are you there? Kay, are you there? Oh, there you go. Teddy. I saw something happening. Someone give me, like I say, just raise your hands that I know that you can answer. Come. Tell me what below the line. Does someone not know, or can you not hear me? Like,
So I don't know.
okay, that it does help, otherwise it starts sounding like a parakeet here, really like like a poor class parakeet in a cage. Thank you. Kay, go ahead, yeah.
I think it's an advertising strategy.
It is. It's part of. So when you let's say are commuting, right? You see a lot of people obviously at robots and stuff like that in a high traffic. I'm saying that the high intensity traffic times. Like, so example, like you would find it like close to around 7:15 a.m. mark, right? In the morning, and they're handing out flyers. You understand? Like a flyer, right? So they give you some kind of document, some kind of paper. That's below the line marketing. And they have like they've got, let's say, printed about 1,000, let's say. I'm saying in total that are sitting there, and they just hand out to whoever takes it, right? Okay. So that's super cheap one to obviously design, right? And in comparison to paying for advertising above the line, obviously marketing, right? Like paying for advertising on print TV, digital slash radio, whatever it is as well, slash and or, right? And we lost someone. Okay. Like this is, you would, if you get, let's say, even 20 out of those 1,000 that you actually you printed, because doesn't cost that much to print small flyers. I'm saying to you in the bigger scheme of things, and it depends on obviously what service you're providing, or let's say if you are a shop and you're doing specials like a Checkers or a Spa, whatever it is, which actually do actually do that, but they do that more so, I'm saying, with the pamphlets that you must, when you go and shop there, you go take one of those special, the little pamphlet, little book, whatever it is that they have, then it says most what the specials are. But I'm saying, like, you would know, like, for example, let's say a lot of little companies that offer car services and things like that, licensing, whatever it may be, right? They are the ones that are going to be uh handing out those flyers. They get high money income or high revenue from something that costs them very little to actually do in comparison to the money that they'll make, even just on those 20 customers that come in from that. So anyway, below the line marketing also works, right? Within radio, below the line marketing includes, like, when we had some stations, a lot of stations have rotated the idea when they have like a street crew, so people that go out during the drive, and let's say the breakfast show, and they are situated somewhere around the feeder area, and they are doing something or somewhat, you understand? So they are somewhere, and they're actually creating a touch and feel product, for the station itself. Anyway, okay. So, all right. The communication objectives should take the target market and segmentation information, set goals to how you're going to retain and grow the segments. So what you're doing essentially with all of this is you're almost writing like a Bible, that they got to stick to, like the company is going to stick to, your marketing team is going to stick to, etc. Take seasonality into account, right? 6, communication strategies. So, what mix of marketing tools are going to be used, and when will they be used, in what situations, I'm saying. So communication tactics. Tactics are more detailed and specific to the communication strategy. For example, like which TV stations and what format you're going to, let's say, expand to, whatever it may be. Will you sponsor a big reality TV show? Will you run ads on TV in the advertisement break, like in advertising breaks? Is that even is it worth even doing? Because you know, I mean, like for example, I think that with the SABC, most of the stuff is that you actually you pay them for airtime. So what happens is that, like, let's say you want a show hosted. I don't know why it keeps kicking everyone individually out. Okay, anyway, but so if you like, if they don't have budget for something, but you do, and you want it to be actually hosted on public national television, like I say, any of the SABC channels, whatever, ETV works in the same way, right? You land up actually having to pay them for most of that broadcasting space. Um, Anyway, so this is why they always say to you, like, there's no conversation until you actually have a sponsor for your show, because then they will pay for your budget and whatever it is, and then you will obviously not, you will have no control of what advertising goes in between. That also goes to, let's say, the station itself. Okay. Anyway, communication budgeting. No, I'm saying that as a by the way on the other side. Okay, communication budget. So this is the section of the marketing budget that is allocated to paid media. We are going to cover paid media in a lesson on its own, in transverse media, which will come a little bit later. And this is the money used to buy time and space on media outside the radio station itself. Okay. All right, last one. All right, here we go. Non-communications flow chart. So we want to know, like, to have like a little bit of an algorithm as to like a step A, step B, step C, but also then step C can involve its way to three different other options or directions of like action flow or information flow, or whatever it may be, like output flow. It doesn't matter, I'm saying to you, right? So so again, so here's someone again to come back in. Oh, okay, it's quite frustrating on your side. Okay, we're nearly done. Okay, so then it gives an idea of what consumers will see, hear, and experience from the radio station's bag of marketing tools and tactics are on a weekly or monthly basis. Uh, Testing and evaluation. This is a very important segment of a marketing strategy. So it details what methodologies you're going to use to test whether or not, like, you have landed the strategy, I'm saying, and the types of activations or whatever it may be. So you're going to have some kind of sample set again to make sure before you go and you go and now go live with this. Like, you've got to obviously have if you don't have people, let's say, to go and test it on, like, you're going to have quality assessments. Do you understand? So it'll have to obviously go through a quality control process, which again, your managers have to have skills in, right? Okay. All right, it's important to set up the process right at the beginning as part of the marketing strategy, because measuring success is about seeing the needle move, right? So you have to be able to say, we are here at A and we want to be able to implement and land at B. Okay. So that's this lesson on marketing. Like I say, just understanding the strategy and so on and so forth. Should stop the recording there. Okay. So just